Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Vox Agent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a topic that's, well, it's not just making headlines, it's fundamentally reshaping the digital world. We're talking about Google's monumental shift in search algorithms, all driven by advanced AI. And this isn't just about how we find information, it's about a profound systemic impact on entire industries. Most visibly, maybe, the online news industry, but honestly, there are critical, undeniable lessons here for literally all businesses navigating the modern economy. Consider this your essential briefing, a way to quickly get up to speed on this rapidly evolving landscape.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're drawing from a really meticulous source, a comprehensive research report by Vox Agent. It was generated just this past September 7th, 2025. This report gives a detailed analysis, distilling key insights from that Guardian article, Existential Crisis, how Google's shift to AI has upended the online news model, and then, crucially, it expands on the broader implications for executives like you listening. So our mission today is pretty clear. Extract the most impactful nuggets of knowledge, help you grasp the full strategic scope of this transformation, with speed and clarity.
Okay, so let's unpack that. When we talk about Google's search algorithms being AI-driven, what's the fundamental change? How are results presented differently now compared to, the keyword matching we all kind of grew up with?
Yeah, that's the core of it, really. The fundamental transformation, as the Vox Agent report details, is this shift away from just matching keywords to using sophisticated AI algorithms that prioritize understanding user intent. Google's AI isn't just scanning for words anymore. It's trying to figure out the context of your query, anticipating what you really want to know. This means much more personalized results, sure, but the real game changer for discoverability, that's the emergence of these AI-generated summaries. You see them displayed prominently, often right at the very top of the search results page, frequently sitting above the traditional links to news articles. For businesses, this means your content isn't just competing with other websites now. It's competing with Google's own AI-generated intelligence. That's a huge redefinition of how users get information.
Right, and that specific shift, these AI summaries, has massive implications for news publishers. They seem super convenient for users, like getting a quick answer. But the report points out a really significant downside, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The convenience for users is undeniable. But the impact on publishers, it's stark. The report clearly states that users might just read these summaries, feel like they've got enough information, and then they just don't click through to the original source. This hits visibility directly, and consequently, it affects the ranking of news websites. Publishers are finding their content is just less discoverable now, much less than before. And for their business models, that has, well, dire financial consequences. It's forcing a really radical rethink of SEO, of search engine optimization strategies. It's not enough anymore to just sprinkle in keywords. Your content now needs to genuinely, comprehensively answer user questions in a way that makes people want to click, to engage beyond just that summary. It's a major strategic challenge for, really, anyone whose business relies on organic search traffic.
That phrase from the Guardian article, existential crisis, analyzed in the report. It sounds dramatic, but based on the financial impact described, maybe it's not an exaggeration. What kind of scale are we talking about here? When your main traffic source changes so fundamentally?
No, existential isn't hyperbole here. The economic fallout is indeed severe. It's hitting the very foundation of their revenue. Many publishers are reporting substantial decreases in referral traffic coming from search engines. There was a survey by Digital Content Next DCN. It revealed a median average year-on-year decline of 10% in Google search traffic among major U.S. online publishers. But wait, it gets worse. Some reports indicate traffic drops between 10 and 25%. And in extreme cases, we're hearing about declines as high as 79%. 79! This isn't just, a slight dip. This translates directly into significant losses in advertising revenue, which, let's face it, is still the primary income stream for many news organizations. Just imagine a 25% or even, wow, a 79% hit to your main customer acquisition channel almost overnight. That's the reality some publishers are facing.
That is just a staggering hit to take, especially so quickly. And you mentioned, while the big media companies might have some cushion, the report specifically highlights that smaller news organizations are particularly vulnerable here. Are they just being left behind, or are there examples of how these smaller players are managing to adapt? Is there any way for them to fight back?
Yeah, you've nailed a critical point. Smaller news organizations, especially those without diversified income streams, they're definitely more vulnerable. They simply don't have the deep pockets or the established brand recognition or maybe the diverse resources of the larger players to absorb such huge losses. That traditional reliance on ads and search traffic, It's proving totally unsustainable for many. But the report does suggest that while many are struggling, the ones adapting effectively seem to be doing things like hyper-localizing or specializing in a very specific niche, building strong community ties, leveraging direct engagement models that, crucially, aren't reliant on Google's whims. It's definitely a tough fight, but those focusing on providing unique, indispensable content seem to be finding pathways. And this raises a really crucial question for any business, doesn't it? What do you do when your established distribution channels just fundamentally shift under your feet?
It seems clear that diversifying revenue and engagement, like we've seen with the New York Times or the BBC, is absolutely vital for news outlets to survive this AI shift. But how does their urgent need to move beyond search offer a sort of blueprint for any business relying on digital visibility, even if you're not selling content? Where else do these pressures apply?
That's a great way to frame it. Survival in this kind of environment really does hinge on innovation and, crucially, diversifying away from these vulnerable single points of failure. One highly successful strategy, and the New York Times is the prime example, is implementing robust subscription models. They've effectively proven that users will pay for high-quality, unique content. That insulates them, to a large degree, from search traffic volatility. That's a lesson for any business, really. Cultivate those direct customer relationships. Don't let third-party platforms be the only gatekeeper.
So it's not just about paywalls then, it's also about the delivery method, the tech infrastructure.
Precisely. Developing your own proprietary platforms and applications is another key strategy. Look at the BBC. They've significantly expanded their digital offerings, moving into interactive formats, multimedia, all within their own apps and websites. This ensures direct audience engagement, right? It reduces their dependence on external search engines for bringing people in. We also see strategic partnerships playing a really important role. Think about the Washington Post's collaboration with Amazon. That broadened their distribution channels, reaching audiences where they already spend time. These examples, they vividly illustrate the need for agility, for creative thinking, and a multifaceted approach to how you deliver value and generate revenue. That applies to any business wanting to control its own destiny in a world dominated by platforms.
Okay, so we started with news, and it's a powerful, immediate case study, for sure. But it's clear these challenges aren't unique to them. The report makes it really clear this AI disruption goes way beyond media. So where else are we seeing AI's hand reshaping industries? And what are the key lessons for us about being proactive versus just reacting when the ground shifts?
That really is the critical takeaway for executives across the board. The online news industry, it serves as a sort of microcosm, a warning maybe, of broader challenges emerging across diverse sectors because of AI. What's fascinating, though, is the contrast. Unlike some news organizations that initially found themselves perhaps reacting to the disruption, many other industries are proactively embracing AI to gain a competitive edge. Take the legal sector, for instance. A survey found that an impressive 80% of legal professionals believe AI will have a significant impact on their field. And even more striking, 53% are already seeing a tangible return on investment from integrating AI into their workflows. So for them, it's not just about managing disruption, it's about harnessing a powerful new engine for growth and efficiency.
That is a stark contrast. Interesting. So beyond legal, what other examples stand out where AI is being used successfully, not just to patch holes, but to actually create new value?
Well, consider retail and e-commerce. They are leveraging AI extensively, both for improving the customer experience and for optimizing their operations. Walmart's use of AI and machine learning for things like inventory management, demand forecasting, even customer service right there in the stores that demonstrates a highly proactive approach, enhancing efficiency, making shoppers happier. Or look at financial services. JP Chase uses AI for complex tasks like contract analysis. This dramatically streamlines workflows, improves accuracy significantly, which, translates directly into cost savings and reduced risk. Even the public sector is getting involved. Organizations are using AI, often through collaborations with companies like IBM, to improve service delivery, optimize resource allocation for citizens, things like traffic management or emergency response. These very examples really show that AI isn't just some threat to be mitigated. It's a powerful, versatile tool. It can drive efficiency, create new value, help you gain a competitive edge across loads of different industries. It's really about seeing the opportunity within the challenge.
But alongside these incredible opportunities for efficiency, for innovation, the report also flags some pretty serious societal and ethical issues. And navigating that balance, right, between rapid tech advancement and responsible deployment, that feels like something every executive needs to be thinking about deeply. What are the main ethical flags for us?
This is a profound area, absolutely, and it demands serious attention. It's not just theoretical stuff. The report highlights several critical concerns. First, there's this issue of AI-driven personalization potentially creating echo chambers, where users are mainly shown information that just reinforces their existing views. That can lead to increased social polarization. It's a real worry. Second, the accuracy of these AI-generated summaries is a serious concern. If the summaries have inaccuracies or omissions or even subtle biases baked in, they risk undermining the integrity of information itself, how people understand the world.
Right. So misinformation and bias aren't just abstract problems, they're real threats. They have tangible consequences for businesses, for society. Beyond just acknowledging this, what practical steps do organizations need to think about? Or maybe what are they already considering to build trust and ensure they deploy AI responsibly in their own work?
Precisely. AI's ability to generate vast amounts of content super quickly and personalize its delivery. Unfortunately, that can amplify misinformation. It makes it incredibly hard sometimes to tell truth from falsehood. And this erosion of trust, in legitimate sources, that has significant implications for democracy, for public health, for social cohesion, which in turn directly impacts markets and consumer confidence. So from a practical standpoint, this just underscores the urgent need for deep ethical considerations to be baked into AI development right from the start, and deployment too. Alongside that, we need robust regulatory oversight. Key issues executives must address include ensuring data privacy, striving for algorithmic transparency so decisions aren't just coming out of a black box, and figuring out how to protect intellectual property rights in a world awash with AI-generated content. Furthermore, the need for explainable AI, or XAI systems that can actually help us understand how AI reaches its decisions that's critical for building trust and accountability. We need to move beyond just deploying AI to deploying responsible AI. It's about being proactive, anticipating, and mitigating harm, not just reacting after the fact.
Okay, so this definitely isn't a temporary blip. It feels like a fundamental reshaping of how information flows, how it's consumed, and ultimately how businesses need to operate. So, looking ahead now, what are the most pressing emerging trends executives really need to keep on their radar, and what proactive steps should they be taking, like right now?
Well, the future will undoubtedly see continued, probably rapid evolution in AI-driven search. Expect even more personalization. But as we've discussed, this also means those concerns about filter bubbles and the fragmentation of information are likely to intensify. Alternative content distribution platforms, think proprietary apps, direct-to-consumer channels, they're going to become even more critical for maintaining direct audience engagement and control over your business destiny. And expect to see new business models really gaining traction, moving beyond traditional ads to include things like micropayments, maybe value-based pricing, more sophisticated strategic partnerships too.
So, putting it all together then, what's the actionable blueprint for executives navigating this complex, fast-moving landscape? What's the most crucial takeaway for our businesses?
I think the core lesson woven throughout the Fox Agent report is that this AI revolution demands proactive adaptation and continuous innovation. This isn't just about buying the latest AI tool. It means prioritizing investments in technology, yes, including AI for insights and optimization, but also, crucially, investing in developing your internal capabilities, your human capital. People need to know how to leverage these tools effectively. You absolutely must forge strategic partnerships, expand your reach, reduce those single points of dependency we talked about, and critically, foster a corporate culture that doesn't just tolerate change, but actually embraces it, promotes continuous learning. Equipping employees with AI literacy skills is vital. We've seen companies like IBM making significant investments in upskilling their workforce for this very reason, preparing them for this new reality. And maybe one final kind of stark insight from the report, just to put this all in perspective. Apparently 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are failing right now. 95%. Now that's likely not just a tech problem. It strongly suggests that successful integration requires much more than just the technology itself. It demands clear strategic planning, serious investment in your people, and an unwavering commitment to ethical practices right from the very beginning. Don't just implement AI, strategically integrate it ethically.
Wow. Okay, this deep dive into Google's AI shift and its ripple effects on news and really across all businesses has given us so much to think about. It's a huge shift, yes, but also, as you said, a clear call to action for every organization.
It absolutely highlights the imperative. All organizations need to view AI not just as another piece of technology to adopt, but as a truly transformative force, one that requires a strategic, ethical, and highly adaptive response from every level of leadership.
Thank you for joining the podcast and see you soon.